The world we live in is characterized by computers and robots. We encounter computers and their tiny microchips everywhere. We constantly use tools that are run by computer technology, whether listening to music, communicating, playing, or working. Millions of computers are connected via the internet. This permits us to make contact with people all over the world and access information. Computers are a part of daily life, just like robots. They are, simply stated, computers that can move. Robots build cars. They explore the depths of dangerous volcanoes. Robots clean buildings and airplanes. They help doctors perform complicated operations. And robots can even play. In the future, robots will be able to do still more and will resemble human beings ever more. Scientists want to build robots that can think and feel like us. A vision which could become reality if computer technology continues to develop at the current pace. In the mid-20th century, spaceships were crammed with the smallest computers of their time. Today, there is more computer technology in a simple car than was used in the first space missions. The first computers were as big as wardrobes. Today, they are small and manageable. In only a few decades, computers have become ever more powerful. This machine represents a milestone in the history of the computer. It is called Z3 and was the first program-driven computer in the world. The Z3 was developed by the German engineer Konrad Zuse in 1941. He built it to do tedious calculations for him. The Z3 was basically a calculator. This first computer was as big as a wardrobe and could only manage simple calculations. 5 years later, American scientists built a far larger computer. The unit, named ENIAC, filled a whole room and could already solve difficult problems. The first computers were so complicated that they could only be operated by experts. Also, they were extremely expensive. Computer manufacturers back then believed that 25 computers would suffice to meet the world's needs. They were very wrong. Because the invention of the microchip revolutionized computer technology. These tiny wafers paved the way for much smaller and more powerful computers. Until then, there were only huge computers that only very few companies could afford. But microchips gave the Americans, Steve Jobs and Stephen Wozniak, the idea to build a computer that everyone could use. One's own personal computer, or as it became better known, a PC. They built a computer in a wooden box with a keyboard, a monitor, and a microchip. They named their invention the Apple. The first PC was born. The predecessor of the computers we now have at home and in our offices. In only a few years, gigantic machines had turned into small, high-powered computers. Today, most people have a computer at home. The computer is an electronic device that can process a broad range of information. One can use a computer to calculate, write, paint, play games, music, and many other things. A PC is essentially made up of two parts, the hardware and the software. The hardware is the outside of the computer, everything one can touch, like the monitor, the mouse, or the keyboard. The software is the inside of the PC and is stored on tiny chips. Software is made up of programs. These software programs pass on commands, which we enter into the keyboard to the right places inside the computer. Like a manager, they supervise procedure. There is also software that allows us to play games, make calculations, write text, and save them. All this information is stored in the computer. Chips are essentially the brains of a computer. The microchip isn't much bigger than a fingernail and hardly thicker than a human hair. These chips store information and execute commands, which we give our computer via the keyboard or a mouse. To understand our commands, the computer converts them into a numeric sequence of ones and zeros. It has its own language, consisting only of these two numbers. If we, for instance, press the letter A on our keyboard, the computer translates it. For the computer, the letter A is called 01000001. By pressing a key, this numeric code is passed on to the microchips inside the computer. They are programmed to display the letter A on the monitor when they receive this code. Each letter of the alphabet, every command has its own numeric code. A computer computes with nothing but ones and zeros. Today, the fastest computers can transmit 600 million commands in a single second. The most important part of a computer are the microchips, which process commands and store information. Under a microscope, one can see the individual components of one of these tiny chips. Their surface reminds one of a city with endless streets and houses. To manufacture a chip, one needs silicon, which is literally as common as sand on the beach, because silicon is derived from sand. Chip production is very complex. More than 300 steps are necessary before a chip can be built into a computer. Minute structures, thinner than a human hair, must be implanted onto the silicon wafer. Not even the tiniest particles, like flakes of skin or dust, are allowed to come in contact with the chip, because a single grain of dust can short-circuit a chip and render it useless. This is why the air in chip production facilities is so well cleaned that it is 10,000 times cleaner than the air in an operating room in a hospital. All workers have to wear protective suits so they don't bring dirt into the factory. Computers are usually installed to stand in one place. When a computer controls the movements of a machine, it is called a robot. Robots are computer-controlled machines that can move. The computer, so to speak, is the robot's brain. Electric motors take over the part of the muscles. And steel or plastic forms the skeleton. Robots are intended to aid humans. People have always dreamed of automated helpers to make their lives more pleasant. Inventors set to work constructing such machines. But up until the middle of the 20th century, robots were more fun than useful. This changed quickly. Just 20 years later, robots revolutionized industry and, for example, became indispensable helpers in manufacturing automobiles. Today, profitable mass production of cars is impossible without robots. More than 1 million of these helpers are in use worldwide. Whether it's welding parts on assembly lines, painting or stacking goods, robots can do almost anything their human inventors programmed them to do. They take over tasks which are too dangerous, too strenuous, or too boring for us. In many areas, they also work much faster and with greater precision. Also, they never get tired or sick. They don't need breaks or vacations. They can work almost incessantly. Heat and cold bother them just as little as toxic chemicals do. They are the perfect workers. In the future, humans and robots will work hand in hand. The boss of a factory will have industrial robots on his staff. After a quick briefing at his workplace, the robot will work in close unison with his human colleagues. So far, this is only a vision, but it could soon become reality because engineers have already developed robots with incredible abilities. 1997, the space probe Pathfinder is on its way to Mars. On board, the robot Mars Sojourner. It is the first robot to land on another planet.
Everybody's ready?
After an 8-month voyage through space, the probe approaches Mars at great speed. The critical landing phase begins. Not far from the surface, computers ignite the retro rockets. Large airbags inflate to dampen the impact on the red planet. Finally, the space module hits the surface of Mars at about 30 miles per hour, just as the computer had calculated. Success. Ground control breaks out in cheers. The Sojourner robot explores Mars's surface on its own. It takes pictures and sends them to Earth. And Sojourner inspects boulders on Mars. With the help of robots, humans can examine planets millions of miles away. This robot mission into outer space was the technical masterpiece of its time. A few years later, this technology is already outdated. Computer science progresses at a breathtaking pace. In the meantime, there are far more efficient machines than the ones used for the first excursions into space. Like this medical robot, its inventors conceived it to assist in operations. Like here, in a trial run, a doctor directs the movements with his voice. The commands are passed on to the 6 grip arms, which move exactly according to the doctor's instructions. The doctor doesn't even have to touch the patient anymore. The grip arms take care of all that. They operate with microscopic precision and without trembling. In the hospital of the future, robots and computers will examine the patients. During operations, the doctor can monitor all the patient's vital data on a screen. This robot is already in action. Its name is Arnold, and it is a so-called service robot. It takes care of menial jobs around the house. It can clean windows and scrub the floor. Arnold knows its way around every room. It even fetches the telephone when it rings. Its movements still look a little slow and clumsy, but scientists are certain it won't take much longer until we have a robot in the house alongside our PC. Elderly and sick people could then choose this model, the nursing robot, Carabot. It doesn't only help around the house, it can be used as a walking aid. And if one needs to call for help, its video phone is ready. Robots are not only useful, they can be entertaining too. Aibo is proof of that. Aibo is Japanese and means friend. This robot dog is intended to be man's best friend. Its inventors taught it 75 words, which it can understand. Aibo is made of metal, full of wires and chips. The robot dog can walk, see, and hear. It likes to play and makes itself noticed like a real dog when it wants to be fed. Aibo reacts when he is stroked. Blinking green eyes indicate, "I like that, keep going." Red eyes, on the other hand, signal, "Beware of dog." Aibo attentively observes his surroundings and reacts accordingly as though he had a conscious mind. In the past decades, scientists have achieved a lot in the field of computer and robot technology. Robots can walk, grasp, see, and hear. But scientists aren't satisfied. Their ambitions go far beyond. They want to construct a machine that is similar to a human being, one that can show fear, love, anger, and grief. These robots must find their way around, move, and make decisions on their own. And above all, they must learn independently. Scientists want to create artificial intelligence, a robot that can meet the performance of a human brain, a machine which is like a human being. Scientists at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have made the first step toward artificial intelligence. They have built one of the most highly developed robots in the world. The robot's name is Cog. Its upper body is modeled after the human body. Its muscles and bones are made of electric motors and steel. Every part of its body has its own computer chips. They are linked like our nervous system. Like a small child, Cog is constantly learning new things. If it makes a mistake, it learns to avoid it next time. It recognizes faces. Cog hears and reacts to people who talk to him. He is almost as intelligent as a 3-month-old child. Whether robots like Cog will one day be as intelligent as human adults is questionable. One thing is certain, however. Computer and robot technology will continue to progress, and computers and robots will play an ever greater part in our lives. For now, it is human beings who give these machines life and enable them to think. But maybe someday the machines will start to think themselves and become our equals. The question is whether we really want this to happen.